How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another nightly review. Today, I'll be going over the Golden Knights' 6-3 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. They did it. They beat the Avs. I said they could do it. I did. You could look back, and I said they could do it. Avs fans disagree, but also one thing before I go into the game, Avalanche fans acting like this is the same type of upset that you know, the Blue Jackets sweeping the Lightning. No, it's not. Not even close. Guys, the Golden Knights had more wins in the regular season than you. The only reason you guys got the President's Trophy was because you had more regulation wins. But the Golden Knights technically won more games. So it's not that big of an upset. You had the same amount of points in the regular season. It's not that bad. So they took Patrick Brown out and Ryan Reeves is in. So about a minute or 23 seconds in, of course, Nathan MacKinnon gets on the board. Kind of a weird loss of coverage goal where it's on the rush. Taves is all alone and MacKinnon passes it over to him, who just shoots it and scores. You could debate if that was a bad goal on Fleury or not. Usually he has that, but so Taves scores from MacKinnon and Saad 23 seconds in, and going into that I was, lightly concerned. But the Golden Knights have allowed the first goal in almost every game of the series. In fact, I think it was every game of this series they allowed the first goal and won those games mostly. So then, 50 seconds later, at a minute and 15 seconds in, Nick Holden scores from Riley Smith and Nick Waugh. And that was a pretty big goal. I'm glad that Nick Holden could finally get on the board. Smith and Waugh did an excellent play there on the forecheck to get that puck. And then not only that, but Smith faked the puck. He faked the pass. That fooled Grubauer. And because of that, Grubauer had no idea where the puck was. And Holden was like, oh, I have a mostly empty net to shoot at. Okay. So, yeah. After that, Tuck would get a huge chance immediately after. Fleury would then stop Nathan MacKinnon. Then Martinez would get a huge chance on the rush. Wob would get the next chance of the game. Martinez would hit a post. He hit the inside of the post, then the crossbar, and it went out. Then Pacioretty would get a chance. Then Nathan MacKinnon at that point was being double shifted. He was being put, I believe, on the third line for the Avs. Then Carlson would score from Martinez. Beautiful pass from Martinez. And the shot placement by Carlson, the gap for the puck to go in was the perfect size. It was the size of a puck. If it was a second later, it would not have gone in. Then Pacioretty gets a chance. Fleury would then stop Rantanen's redirect, and then he would stop Burakovsky. And then at the end of the period, Landeskog went after Whitecloud. Whitecloud must have said something to him, but Whitecloud doesn't seem like a very talkative guy. I don't know what he could have said to Landeskog to piss him off so much, but yeah. So then at the end of the first, it's 2-1 Golden Knights. Shots were 12-10. And yeah. So early in the second, Waugh hits a post. And then the Golden Knights do another puck over glass penalty. Oh my god. This needs to stop. A puck over glass? No, stop. It's been every game of the series almost. A puck over glass. Stop it. Stop. That time it was Alex Pietrangelo, not Shea Theodore. However, on that power play, Whitecloud on a dump hit the top of the glass on a dump, which made it almost another delay of game. And then Rantanen would score on that power play from McKinnon and Landeskog, so all three of their big guys are on the board. Great. Great. Anyway, White Cloud deflected that puck. Not intentionally, it went off his skate, but then McNabb would destroy Nichushkin. Fleury would stop Girard, and then he would stop Taves. And then, remember, it was like, I believe it was game 4 that I said that a linesman got in the way of an Avs player and basically shut down their rush, causing a turnover for the Golden Knights. Yeah, well, it happened to the Golden Knights, this time in the neutral zone. Linesman basically kicked the puck away from them, and yeah. Then Fleury would rob McKinnon on a 3-on-1. Then Fleury would stop a Landeskog deflection. This second period really looked like the second period from last game. However, it was tied at this point, 1. And 2, the Golden Knights weren't, they were getting the puck out. They were doing well enough in the defensive zone that Colorado wasn't just living. They weren't, taking out a loan or setting up a retirement fund in their own zone. So, yeah. Then, behind the Colorado net, dude, Alex Tuch freaking destroyed Nathan McKinnon. Yeah, that was a pretty fun hit. Then Pietrangelo would get a chance. And then Keegan Colasar with one of the craziest tips I have ever seen from Pietrangelo and Theodore. That puck went 4 feet wide of where it was originally going to go, and it went in the net. That was a crazy tip, but it worked. So that's 3-2 Golden Knights. Then White Cloud would get the next chance. And then Andre Burakovsky would get a rush, and he would score. Posting in. I think Fleury was a little too deep in his net on that one. But he'd score from Bellemare and Makar. So, Makar's on the board. Great. So every star Avs player got on the board. That has a recipe for success. Then, and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, too. We cannot forget him. Why is it that he has to hurt me? I have your jersey, dude. Why do you gotta hurt me? Anyway. Then, crazily enough, the Avalanche, with like 20 seconds left, just decided to stop playing defense off of a defensive turnover. And Alex Pietrangelo shoots it into a wide open net because the Avs players just decided to not play defense with 20 seconds left in the period in an elimination game. In a game that you desperately need, tied going into the third, but 20 seconds left, you let Alex Pietrangelo get his first of the playoffs from Tuch and Pacioretty with 17.8 seconds left. Okay, Avalanche, that's an interesting strategy. Great for me, though. Then, after the period, White Cloud gets into a scuff again. This time it's with McKinnon. McKinnon tackled White Cloud after the whistle. That should be a penalty. Yeah, that should have been a penalty. For real, that should have been a penalty. However, it was not. And going into the third, Golden Knights are up 4-3. Shots in the second period were only 10-6, so it wasn't like they got outshot, 15-3 or something like that. But yeah, at that point in the game, the Golden Knights had 4 goals on 16 shots. The Avalanche were not getting saves when they needed them. They just weren't. Now, I know a lot of these, Grubauer had no chance, but Grubauer didn't make a lot of huge, spectacular saves. I know the first and the third goal on Fleury were a little suspect, but he made some big saves in the second and third period to shut down the Avs, and they just got out-goalied tonight. Then, in the third period, Carlson would get a big chance early That was Grubauer's best save of the game right there. Pretty much. Then Timmins would egregiously trip Carlson, like, at center ice. Just pulled him down with his stick. And there was no call. Like, I know that playoff refs don't call anything, and they have not called anything in this series. But that was egregious. Like, incredibly. At center ice, basically. With refs watching. Center ice. You kind of got to call that, and they didn't. But, yeah. Then Fleury would stop Belmar. And then he would rob Nichushkin twice. Nichushkin all alone in front. Fleury stops him twice. Then Makar missed on a pretty big chance. I felt like this part of the game was key, with Nichushkin getting robbed and then Makar missing on a big chance. Like, Makar had a lot of net to shoot at, and he just missed the net. I felt like that was pretty key for the Golden Knights. I feel like that's kind of where it turned. This period did. Then Carrier would get a chance, and then Colorado shots in this game. Up to this point, they had 28 shots. Golden Knights had 28 shot blocks. They were matching the Colorado Avalanche in shots versus shots blocked. They were not letting shots through to Fleury very often. But going the other way, Carrier scores from Theodore and McNabb off of like a triple deflection. And yeah, so that made it 5-3 and kind of made it, kind of put it a little out of reach for the Avs at that point. But there was still, 5 minutes to go in the game. You could score 2 goals, especially in this game. Then Graves tripped Carlson. So finally, an egregious trip gets called. And of course, it's Ryan Graves. Thank you, referees, for, making some poetic justice. I'm sorry. Listen, that should have been a fine. The hit on Janmark should have been a fine. And I will laugh at Ryan Graves every time he fails in this series. I'm sorry. Like he did here. So, yeah. And like he did on the overtime goal in Game 6. Then Stone would get the only chance on that power play. And, yeah. There was a TV timeout with 4 minutes and 23 seconds to go. The Avs pulled their goalie at about 3:30. Pacioretty would score 20 seconds into that to nail in the coffin. 6-3 at this point. Avs would pull Grubauer again at the 3-minute mark. And at that point, the Golden Knights really weren't trying to score. It was pretty out of reach at this point because they started getting chances with a minute left. And yeah. So Fleury would stop Nichushkin. Then he would stop Rantanen. The rebound would come to the front of the net. And I thought the Avs had an empty net to shoot up, but the defense was there to block the shot. So, yeah, but that was it for the game. The Avs just they couldn't score when they needed to. But I don't think it's their fault they lost this game. I mean, they put up 3. They scored 3 goals, but they allowed 5 goals on 19 shots. Grubauer allowed 5 on 19. Now, his stat line ended up being a little bit better than that, but 5 goals on 19 shots isn't really a winning recipe in an elimination game. So, yeah. Shots in the third were 11-7 for the Avalanche. Shots in the game were 35-23. Golden Knights had 6 goals on 23 shots. That's usually not how it goes. But, yeah. So I wanted to tally up something. I wanted to know if the Golden Knights had actually outscored the Avs in this series, because I feel like the 7-1 game to start off the series may have put it in the Avalanche's favor. But pleasantly surprised, Golden Knights outscored the Avs in this series 20-18. So they scored more goals in this series than the Avs did. 3 stars of the game. Pietrangelo, Keegan Colasar scores his first playoff goal, and I'm gonna give one to Marc-Andre Fleury, even though this first and the third goal were a little, but he made the big saves when he needed to, especially later on in the third period, and throughout the third period he locked the game down. And yeah, the Golden Knights take this one 6-3. They win the series 4-2. Kind of weird that they had more trouble with the Wild than with the Avalanche. So, yeah. The Golden Knights, their next game is Monday. They get rest, thank God. So we're not going to get a 7-1 game again. I was worried that they were just going to be like, haha, you're playing Saturday. So, yeah. The Golden Knights are going to go play Montreal. Montreal's coming down to Vegas for game 1. And, yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Should the Golden Knights progress through the playoffs, they will have home ice no matter what round they're in. So, yeah. That's it for this one, guys. If you want to get my thoughts on the game during the game, you can follow me at 2_pad on Twitter. And that is it for this one, guys. I will see you next time.